Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze. I am your host, Professor Jeremy Vilmer. And joining us now, former Smoky Mountain Wrestling champion, author, podcast host, and YouTube personality, Bobby Blaze. What's happening, Bobby?
Hey, Professor, man. Not much happening. It's glad to be back on the airwaves, man. Bringing our podcast worldwide, baby. And we've got a good one this week, and I've been looking forward to it because we had such a fun time last week, man, with the movie stars and Hollywood stars and stuff. It was a really fun episode. Things have just been picking up here at the Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze podcast. So good to be back on the air, man.
Oh, yeah, it is. You know, Bobby, I just want to talk about a couple ththings real quick before we get too far into this. You know what I hate in life is like when you meet people and you like bring them back to your place and they put their goddamn shoes on your futon. It drives me nuts, and I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, man, you got to take them shoes off, Melanie.
Yeah, it's not right, Melanie. But anyhow.
But you better have some good-looking feet, I'm going to tell you that, too. I'm a foot guy. I'm a leg man. You know what perfect legs are, don't you?
What is that, Bobby?
Feet on one end, pussy on the other. Melody, get your shoes off the futon.
That is a very, very valid point. Hey, everybody, welcome back to episode 55 of Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze. Bobby, what are we talking about this week?
Hey, man, we're talking about catchphrases this week. My brother, he suggested it. He sent it to me through Twitter. See, it comes from all kinds of fans, man, where we get these topics from. Yeah, we're doing catchphrases, but he also sent me an article by Mike Monaghan from the Post and Time newspaper, and it just had a great article. Mike's articles are always great. He always treats the business with such respect. So, yeah, we're going to do catchphrases this week, and we've got kind of back into our top 10 format, how we're going to do it, and we've got some damn good ones, man. So, yeah.
And there's a lot of fun stuff in here, and yeah, we need to take a little break from the top 10 format there for a bit, just because we've been doing it for a little over a year, and it was kind of, we needed to expand a little bit and see what else we could do. And now it's back, and I'm glad to see it back, yeah. Before we get started, let's do this real quick. I know you've been talking to Mike and the boys over at Booking the Territory. What's going on with them these days?
Yeah, let's give a shout out there to, I spoke to Mike Mills. We done an interview the other day over on Booking the Territory. I'm getting ready to, where they're following Smoky Mountain Wrestling, I'm getting ready to win the Heavyweight Championship title there from Jerry the King Lawler. It's not out yet for the regular listeners of Booking the Territory, but Mike told me if you're a Patreon member of Booking the Territory, he's already let it drop, and it's a real good interview. Mike and I just sat around and bullshitted about it for about 45 minutes. Just me talking about the build-up and the time it took place. Not going to give anything away, but if you're a Patreon member over on Booking the Territory, you've probably already heard it because I've had about 3 or 4 people contact me and say it turned out to be a really good interview. So, and I'll let you folks know when it does air on the other, on his podcast. But right now, it's the whole deal with them. Patreon members already heard it, man. Something about that Patreon, Jeremy, and I'm just going to kind of throw it back to you.
Oh, sure. Well, Bobby, a little secret that I'm letting out of the bag tonight. I haven't completed everything yet. But we do have a Patreon page set up now, and you can find it by going to patreon.com/belltobellblaze. I have the tiers worked out and what each tier is going to cost to get into. I still need to write out what the benefits and bonuses and whatnot that you get along the way. But tier 1 is going to be the fan tier, $1 a month. You get a warm, fuzzy feeling. We like you, you like us, and everybody's happy. Tier 2 is a $2 a month tier. That's the jabroni tier. At the jabroni tier,
you get the professional level.
Yeah, well, so you go from jabroni at $2 a month, and then the next level is the professional for $5 a month. After that, at $10 a month, you get a regional champion. You get to name your own region that you are champion of. That one's unlimited. As many people can buy into that one as you want. The next tier is at $25 a month, Continental Championship. There's only going to be 7 of these, and we're going to assign you what continent you are champion of. After that, well, that is unless, you're the first one to buy it or the first couple to buy it and they're open, and then you can just pick what you want. The last tier we're going to have is going to be $50 a month. That's going to be the world champion level. There's only going to be one of those spots. Now, I'm writing out the benefits. There's going to be books and T-shirts and Discord access and call-in shows and bonus episodes, blah, 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 blah. But I'm still writing out what the benefits are. But get over there, check it out. Take a look, see if there's anything that interests you there that you can help support the show and get something out of.
Great. I'm glad you're coming up with these things, man. So we're going to have us a Patreon page starting at $1, $2, $5, $10, $25 up to $50. And, just helps to support the show. Like I said, a lot of people do like the show just by getting that warm, fuzzy feeling, man, you know. So good deal. Good stuff coming, folks.
Yep.
And,
well, before we jump into the next thing, Bobby, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us on YouTube now as well?
That's what I was going to say, actually. Texas included in that. I wanted to say, yes, folks, if you've been following our YouTube page, it is blowing up, and we appreciate it. Texas has been down there with in the Carolinas with the hurricane relief. Been doing a lot of work driving up and down I-95 and doing this and doing that. So he wanted me to send out his apologies, even though there's no apology required here, because he's doing something really good, helping a lot of people out. But there's going to be more videos, probably starting tonight in the next few days, because he's going to put them up on YouTube, and we're doing football players right now, and I think there's 4 of them already up there, so there's another 6 of the football player ones. You have got to record the West Texas State one, and then we've got several other ones in the can already. So follow us on YouTube at tinyurl.com/BBBB video and support us over there. Subscribe. Go ahead and like the video. Give us that thumbs up, Make sure you subscribe. We've got 6,000 subscribers. And, man, if you go there and look, there's some really good topics. We got the badasses. We got the commentators. We got the girls. And like I said, right now we're going through football players that became professional wrestlers, and we'll have a whole lot more new content coming up. It's tinyurl.com/BBBB video over on the YouTube channel.
That's right.
Thank you, Tex.
Yeah, thanks, Tex. And, he does a lot of, that guy's the hardest working guy in our show. I sometimes feel bad that we keep him locked in the boiler room, but,
he likes it.
He does. He's kind of into it. So, I guess I don't feel that bad about it. Well, Bobby, let's start getting on topic here, and let's talk about catchphrases. But as we do with every one of our top 10 lists, we can't fit everybody in there, so we always have a couple honorable mentions. You want to go through yours?
Yeah, sure. Well, my honorable mentions, I had a couple people send this one in. This is for the old Memphis fans, probably more than anyone. It was Austin Idol, man. He was a woman's pet, men's regret. He had that Las Vegas leg lock, daddy. He had the Las Vegas leg lock, man. Instead of the figure 4, Austin Idol put a little snappy touch to it. Hey, man, it's the Las Vegas leg lock. So that was one of my honorable mentions. Okay, so my next one is, man, I got to know a long time ago, hell of a good dude, man. Old Road Dogg coming out there, oh, you didn't know? So I like that with DX, man. Brian's voice coming across on that, oh, you didn't know. That's just, I don't know, it could have probably made this top 10 list, but it didn't. So I'll tell you folks how dadgum good this top 10 list is going to be today. So that's my 2 right there, Professor.
All right, so I got to go a little bit old school, because I'm going to go back to like one of the original catchphrases, and I'm going to go with Freddie Blassie's use of Pencil Neck Geek. A fantastic cut down on anybody. It was such a popular saying back in his day that they actually recorded a song with him using that phrase. That was always a good one. Also, my last one that I'm going to go with as my honorable mention is Big Papa Pump is your hookup. Now holla if you hear me. Scott Steiner, when he nailed that phrase, man, he took his character to a whole new level. And, he had a bunch of them too. The only things I care about are my freaks and my peaks. When he created this character, I have to think that this is who he really was the whole time. This was really Scott Steiner, and he'd just been kind of sitting on this guy with his, his clean cut college image. And then the real Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, came out, found these catchphrases, and went to the moon with them.
And that big bad booty daddy, man. I'm telling you, the scenery kind of changed around those times, too, because I was there. So, yeah. All you freaks out there, that's a good one, man. Holla. Good one. Good one. That's 4 honorable mentions right there that could have easily made this top 10 list. So, with that said, Jeremy, you want to go into the top 10?
I do indeed. You want to start? Or you want me to start?
I sure will. I'll start. Just for all you, just Mid-South, old school, Southern, just, mercy daddy. The boogie woogie man, handsome Jimmy Valiant, man. He'd had that, mercy daddy. He'd come out there shaking and dancing, shucking and jiving, man. He just, would it be on Crockett TV or Memphis TV or at the arena or whatever? I think his book's even called Woo Mercy Daddy,
I'm pretty sure it is.
One sweet man. He's just a sweet guy, man. And like I said, he was out there shucking and jiving way back when. Hell, he got up and danced on stage with Bob Seger one time, but he brought all that heat down there in to Memphis, to Mofo Town, to Jerry the Kingfish Lawler. So had to put that one on the list. It was a last-minute call, and you thought I probably thought of it. I had it on the list, but I kind of put it to the side. And Jeremy said, Bobby, I think that needs to be in the top 10. Why don't you introduce it as I just did? So, woo, mercy, Daddy.
Yeah, he still is. He's still out there. He's still doing his thing, working shows and whatnot. That guy could run a microphone like nobody's damn business, though. I mean, he really could. I mean, whether it was his, the boogeyman is low, whatever he was doing was just great on the mic. And, that Mercy Daddy was like in between every sentence, he'd clap his hands and say that. It was just, great stuff. It definitely is, the stuff like that is what I am missing from wrestling TV these days.
Yeah. And you know what? He's a fan of the Bell to Bell Bobby Blaze podcast. He's cut a couple promos for us and sent them to us via text, man.
Yes, he has.
Hey, you know what? Just thought of this. Sheila, if you're listening, watch yourself. As Tex, you better watch her around the boogeyman because he likes her a lot. And if you're not familiar with it, the boogeyman likes old Tex's wife Sheila there. So we'll give Sheila a shout on this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Free of charge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I was always thinking that too. It's like, oh, Tex, watch out, man.
Yeah, because he's put that on the front of our YouTube channel sometime on a bumper there, man. And whoo, you got to watch out. Like you said, have mercy, Daddy.
That's right. That's right.
All right, let's move on to number 9, man.
Well, number 9, and this one is, I would say, probably one of the most consequential phrases in pro wrestling, but a little guy, kind of obscure. Maybe you've never heard of Hulk Hogan. I don't know. But, what you gonna do, brother? Come on. He ended every interview for 30 years with that phrase,
Yeah. And, brother, what you gonna do, brother? Yeah.
Yeah, the man with the largest pythons in the world. Yeah, and just.
Yeah, you can't have any top 10 list and not have something from Hulk Hogan on there, man, because the guy, he just knew how to do it, obviously, man, and he changed the face of wrestling. We've talked about it before, and coming out there and is ripping his shirt off and the whole Hulkamania thing, and just, then like you said, everyone's brother, and ending that with what you gonna do, and also, we tried to keep this list just so everyone knows. On our top 10, we kind of gave it to a little bit of everyone. We didn't go down a memory lane with, 10 from this guy or 5 from this guy and 2 from this guy. We kept it at one person, and we said no list is complete without Hulk Hogan on it. And everyone knows that his catchphrase had to be, what you gonna do, when Hulkamania runs wild on you, brother. So I can't do a good Hulk Hogan voice, but I'm just saying we had to have him on this list. And I know you wrote it, I wrote it, and Tex wrote it. So, and I'm sure one of our fans probably, if not more, sent that in to us as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like you're saying, even though it's kind of easy to hate on Hulk Hogan for being a shitty wrestler or whatever, blah, 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 he was consequential to pro wrestling. Him jumping ship from, not being able to get the title off of Bockwinkel and jumping ship to the WWF is what set the destruction of every other territory in pro wrestling. Yeah. And every word he said was probably some of the most consequential stuff ever said in pro wrestling.
Yep. Yeah. Good stuff. And good stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff. Why don't you do number 8? Because I know this means a lot to you. You was a fan of him, and we talked about this way back when the T-shirt gimmick wars were going on. So I'll let you introduce number 8. What's that?
Well, number 8 is going to be the NWO using the phrase "too sweet" with the little rocker horns and everybody putting their hands in the center. Because even up to recently, the Bullet Club was still using this as a catchphrase, and it all started with the NWO.
Right on, man. Yeah. Now, I was there when that was going on. They started that Wolfpack and NWO and all that stuff, man. It's just one of those things. I guess I couldn't pitch that high voice though. I say too sweet or whatever. The hell
I'm a little too bassy for that myself.
Yeah, myself too. But yeah, they pinch the fingers together, do the horns or what have you. But it got over, man. It got over. And again, it's one of those things. You can't have a top 10 list of catchphrases and not have something that someone in the NWO didn't say, on his list.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one, man. That's a real good one to put on there.
And where I keep coming back to that is the NWO was the first time pro wrestling was cool, and the guys like Stone Cold and everybody else who were cool, it was growing on them. They were standing on their shoulders,
Yeah.
So,
yep, you're right, man.
Yeah. Bobby, hey, on top of being a podcast host, pro wrestler, former world champion, American Junior Heavyweight Champion, and WCW employee, I hear you also like to write books.
I try. I try. I'm working on them. I've got 2 books, actually. You can get my first book, man, is Pin Me, Pay Me. I kicked out on 2. No, fuck, I'm getting all fucked up, man. I don't need any notes in front of me. I kicked my microphone. I'm trying to use a different microphone this week, if you haven't noticed. It's one that's easy to kick. Anyway, I've got Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boots Will Travel as my first book. You can get it at tinyurl.com/BlazeBook1. Now, the reason I mentioned the tiny URL, these books are available on Amazon, folks, but if you go through these tiny URLs, I'm going to throw it at you. The show gets a little bit of kickback, and it helps sponsor the show a little bit, and every show out there can use a little bit of kickback, especially if you like the show, show some support to it. So, Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boots Will Travel. It has 102 reviews, averaging out to about 4.5. It's on Goodreads, and again, you can get it on tinyurl.com/BlazeBook1. My second book is called I Kicked Out on 2, The Educational Wrestler. You can also get that on Amazon, but here's the shortcut, folks. Help the show get a little bit of kickback. That's tinyurl.com/BlazeBook2. So it's real simple. If you're familiar with the tiny URLs, it's just tinyurl.com/BlazeBook1 or tinyurl.com/BlazeBook2. The books cost you the same. They're doing really good on Amazon right now, and the show gets a bit of kickback on that. I'm not even aware how much it is, but here's the good thing. We all smile because I get a little bit of a kickback from selling the book. Jeremy and the show that we do together to pay for co-hosting fees and hosting fees gets a little kickback, and we like that. And also, guess what? You get a pretty good book. Both of them, from what I hear, not going to, be out here to talking catchphrases. Not necessarily catchphrase, not out here to toot my own horn, but anyway, out there. There you go, Arn and Buddy. I heard both of them said that. But anyway, they got pretty good reviews on there. And if you already own a copy, hell, get someone a copy. Christmas will be up here before you know it. Give a friend a copy of the book, especially a pro wrestling fan in your family or friend list or whatever. tinyurl.com/BlazeBook1, tinyurl.com/BlazeBook2, and that's that, Jeremy. And I'm working on book 3, I hope. I'm working on it. I hope I get it done. How's that?
Yeah, that probably wraps it up. We know you're working on it, yeah.
Yeah.
I've read both books, obviously. That's part of how you and I met.
Yeah.
So, great books. If you haven't read them, read them. If you have read them and you got friends who are into pro wrestling, classic pro wrestling, want to hear great behind-the-scenes stories, buy your friends a copy of this book. You know what? Buy them and donate them to your local library, who I'm sure needs good books donated to them.
Hell of an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I like that idea. Actually, the local library here in Ashland does have a copy of Pin Me, Pay Me. One of the other branch libraries has a copy of my second book. I think there's 3 branches just in my county alone. So, there's other libraries that need those books. And get out there. That's a good idea. And I go to the library quite a bit myself, being a reader. So, anyway, can you dig it, sucker? That's number 7. I hope I didn't blow your ears out there, but, man, I was stoked to say this one because, man, number 7 is Booker T. 5 time. You know what I'm saying, man? And can you dig it, sucker? And, man, what a good guy Booker T was. Good heart, man, and a hell of an athlete out there in the ring doing that spin-a-rooney and the axe kick. And, man, he had a hell of a good body, had a hell of a good wrestling ability and athletic ability, and he could talk, man. So he had all them ingredients we've talked about here and there on the podcast about the ingredients that make a good cake. These are ingredients that make a good professional wrestler. And he had all 3 of them, man, because brother could talk. So can you dig it, sucker?
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Booker T, I think, has one of the most incredible stories as a star to come out of wrestling. Get past his, it's pretty incredible that a guy can go from being a jailbird and then still straighten his shit out and kind of, pull his life together. But go from being a tag team wrestler that first started off as like a semi-racist gimmick in the South, then go to, the Harlem Heat becoming Harlem, from Bowen Kane to Booker T and Stevie Ray to Booker T single star to Booker T single star who jumped ship to WWF with the buyout and still managed to get himself over.
Yeah.
He's a hell of an actor. Just like his ability to play comedic or play badass or whatever they need him to do, he does.
Yeah.
Hell of an athlete. Good solid look to him. He kind of became WCW's answer to The Rock there for a minute, too. And can you dig it, sucker, is one of my favorite sayings from a movie, too, Bobby.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know the movie?
Lay it on me, Jack.
Warriors. Cyrus at the beginning. Yeah.
Can you come out to play? Yeah. And he's out there doing that speech in the park, and it's
Yep.
"Can you dig it, suckers?" Yeah,
Yep.
Good recall, man.
That's where that came from. I love that movie.
Yeah, hell of a good movie, man. Yeah. Ajax and the boys. But Cyrus said it. You're right. You're right, man. Good recall. We're still in the Hollywood mold, man. Damn.
Yep. Well, you know me.
That's a fun podcast.
I'm a movie nerd, man. I hold on to this little shit forever, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a great recall right there, man. So there you go. Can you dig it, sucker? Good one, man. Well, let's go to number 6, I guess.
Well, number 6, hold on. This will be a fun one because you had a run-in with this guy.
Literally had a run-in with them, and it was like, oh, yeah, Macho Man and Bobby Blaze about had a double knockout right there in the bathroom floor. Yep, So, oh, yeah. Most people's going to know I'm talking about the Macho Man, and if you haven't heard it before, basically we was in a locker room at some arena somewhere. I want to say we was probably up in Wisconsin, Minnesota, or somewhere. And I went in there to use the restroom, you know, and the damn floor was flooded. I don't know if it was piss or if it was water. I don't care, but it's pretty much flooded. I about took a bump, but I didn't. I did my business. I went over to wash my hands. I turned. As soon as I turned to open the door, as I'm pulling, because I'm on the inside, someone on the outside's pushing. And as soon as they pushed and I pulled, they came right through. And it was the Macho Man, and he was sliding around trying to say something like, you know, what, the floor's wet, no time, you know, But basically, we both about done the double knockout right there because of that slick floor, and I'm holding the door handle, and he probably, I guess, grabbed the sink in the door, and as soon as we made eye contact, and neither one of us fell, but he goes, oh, yeah, the Macho Man and Bobby Blaze about doing a double knockout right there in the bathroom floor. And, man, I just started cracking up, and I went over and sat down, and then a couple of the Armstrong was sitting there. I go, what's that about? I go, man, me and him about headbutted each other, just walking through the door. That bathroom floor's flooded in there. They thought something was going on because they heard him raise his voice. It was all in good fun. They just didn't know what was happening. But the way he said it, because he spoke about himself in the third person, just like he would in the interview. You know, he said, "Oh yeah, the Macho Man and Bobby Blaze." But yeah, so oh yeah comes in there, man. That's a good one because he tied a lot of stuff, like you were saying with the Hogan. What you gonna do? You know, he Macho Man put that oh yeah on so many other ones. You know, like the other one that more people know about than the bathroom bump, and that is, you know, oh yeah, snapping to a Slim Jim. You know, so you put them all out there. But yeah, that oh yeah, man, that's got to be on that list. And I don't know how you don't have a list in professional wrestling without mentioning the Macho Man anyway.
Well, he's got to be on there. You know, even if it's something as simple as oh yeah, if you want to go find a specific speech to crib something out of.
Right. Yeah.
Macho Man was probably the most intense individual ever in pro wrestling. He looks like he's about to jump out of his own body and whip somebody's ass every moment.
Yeah, he was intense. That's the best word you can use to describe him, man. And you know, he got that name when he played baseball.
Yep.
You know, the Macho Man was one thing, but that Savage, you know, he just a beast, you know. Like you said, a Macho Man though, because he just whacked that ball, and he played in several professional, including the Cincinnati Reds organization on the up and coming, and worked some here and there, and eventually, you know, that wrestling came through for him, man, and thankfully for that we had the Macho Man, because what a character. One of the greatest characters of all time, professional wrestling, man, and he has to make our list, like I said, in a tremendous fucking physique. Always had a good interview with the oh yeah and everywhere else. Like you said, you can tag anything else along with that, and also incredible work rate out there in the ring. He just busted his ass. He's out there. He would do everything, you know, jumping over that top rope, jumping to the top rope. You know, he'd go from that top rope, from the ring over the top rope, touching. He would go from the turnbuckle onto the floor with that double axe handle, you know, and then, of course, that big elbow drop off the top. You know, that's an oh yeah moment right there, man. He's just a tremendous athlete.
Well, so, yeah, his elbow drop, I remember just the first couple times I saw him where he hit somebody all the way across the ring.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, let me know, but didn't the WWF use a 20-foot ring back then?
Yes, they did. Yes,
they
did.
So that was a hell of a jump that he did. One of his other things that he would do is where he'd grab a guy and then run and then jump and clear the top rope and then clothesline them on the top rope on his way out of the ring.
Yeah, good stuff.
That guy was a hell of an athlete, and I don't think he ever got the credit. And Bobby, before we move on to our next spot, I'm going to suggest that pretty soon here we do a top 10 reasons we love Macho Man Randy Savage.
I like that. Fans, hit us up. Hit Jeremy up at the Geekus Cast. Hit me up at Bobby Blaze 744, or hit us up at Bell to Bell Blaze on Twitter. And let us know what you think about that, because you know what? I'll say this, Jeremy. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Let's do it, man.
Yep.
Top 10 reasons why we love the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Good one. Good
I think
call,
that's a good one. All right. Well, I'm going to move to number 5 now.
Yeah.
And,
this person has their own top 10.
Mm-hmm. We
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No. We left him off of a list one time, both to our own chagrin, and came back and said, you know what, we got to do a whole show about him now.
Absolutely.
And we're going to go with, as far as one of his greatest, maybe funniest catchphrases, funky like a monkey. Dusty.
Funky like a monkey, Daddy.
Yeah. Dusty Rhodes.
Hey.
I believe it was funky like a monkey in 1987, I believe was the year. Yeah. But Dusty, everything Dusty said was great.
Oh, yeah. And like you said, we didn't put him on a podcast top 10. A fan wrote us. Next thing you know, and we both realized it, that we fucked up. Mm-hmm. And we come out for our top 10 reasons we love Dusty Rhodes. And that's episode number 4. And it was at one time, it was our most popular episode. But, so yeah, we do take fan suggestions, and we had several of his quotes, just so you know, but this is catchphrases. So he has some great sayings, you know. I won't go into all of them. Not going to give you, you've already heard them, whatever. But we're going to stick with this one here, though. Let's get funky like a monkey, Daddy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good one right there, Professor. That's a real good one.
Yeah, I believe that's still on shirts and stuff to this day, I'm pretty certain.
Probably is.
Yeah.
Probably is. Well, let's move on to Prime. Jeremy, do you like your Amazon Prime?
I love my Amazon Prime, Bobby.
Tell me about it.
Well, I can tell you, Amazon Prime, you can buy just about anything. It shows up, depending on where you live, it can be as quick as a couple hours to 2 days, which is the standard, is a 2-day free delivery. If you have Prime and you buy clothes and they don't fit, it's a free return. You don't have to pay any restocking fee, no bullshit, no screwing around. Buy the clothes, try them on in your own home. They don't work, you send them back, no questions asked, no problems. Okay? Amazon Prime, you get your books, you get free streaming, you get free streaming music. You can get everything you need to live your normal life on Amazon. You can get toilet paper, you can get toothpaste, you can get cleaning supplies, you can get clothing, books, movies. You know what else you can get on Amazon Prime, Bobby?
What?
You can get a futon on Amazon Prime. That's right, a futon. You don't have to sleep on the floor anymore because of Amazon Prime. What do you think about that?
I think it's great, and I'll tell you what, if you go to tinyurl.com/BB, try Prime, you can get a 30 free day trial. Won't cost you a damn dime to do it. You just sign up, give it a try for 30 days, and I bet you like it. If you do that by going to tinyurl.com/BB try Prime, the show gets a little bit of kickback. And once again, we're not out here begging and bumming and this and that. We're trying to give you a good service. And I'm telling you, this is something, if I didn't believe in it, I have Prime. I love my Prime, and I think you will too, or I wouldn't be sitting here telling you. You ought to give it at least a free 30-day trial and just use our Tiny URL and do that. And it's that way you can help support our show just a little bit. And, you know, hey, we're all just fans and friends, and we're out here in podcast land doing our thing. And Jeremy and I both love Prime, and I wouldn't bullshit you on it. I get stuff sent through there. I'm in a one-day delivery apparently now because I've been getting stuff like that. I save on my shipping. It's worth my fee to get whatever the hell I need off of there, and I use it all the time. Again, it's tinyurl.com/BB. Try Prime and give it a go, man. You don't have anything to lose. Then you're helping the show.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You know what else you can get on there? You could get a metal chair and use it for some plunda, drop an elbow, get the 3 count, grab your title belt, hit the pay window, and go home.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Speaking of catchphrases, hey, you know what else you could probably get on Amazon Prime? You could probably get a replica title belt and then wear it to a wrestling show and then have to defend it. I think that's another thing you could do there.
You probably could.
Yeah.
You probably could. And if you do that, you know what'll happen?
What's that, Bobby?
You'll get to be called a jabroni or a goof.
That's right.
Leave it on the wall, people.
Yeah.
Get it autographed or whatever you're going to do with it, but don't go around wearing it. Don't throw it over your shoulder. Get it autographed and put it on your wall.
You know, I think them putting it over their shoulder galls me even more. You know, for some reason, it's a belt. Put it, if you're gonna be a jabroni who wears it out in public, put it around your goddamn waist. You know?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you know, this always, hold on, this leads me to a question. If you're a wrestling champion and you're coming down to the ring and you have a belt and you wear a robe, do you wear the belt over the robe or under the robe?
That's a great question, man. I've seen it done both ways, but I think you put it under the robe. That way, when you, in professional wrestling, I do, that way when you open your robe and you reveal it, man, you're letting them know right there. They already know you're the champion. when you come down that aisle, they need to know, you're the champion, and they'll know that. And you've got that robe on. So if you wear a robe, that little bit of arrogance and that showmanship, and then when you come down there and you open that robe and there it is, there's the world's heavyweight title. That's just my opinion. What do you think?
I agree with you, because first off, title belts should almost always be on a smug heel, right? I mean, just by necessity, by nature. Also, I don't even know if I ever actually saw this, but imagine Rick Rude as champion somewhere. Don't you think he would come down with it under his robe so he could do the full reveal?
Yes, that's exactly what was running through my mind. I had two people running through my mind, and that was one of them right there, because that's delivering that package, that arrogance, that, here it is. When I take this off, you're going to see not only the man, you're going to see the belt.
Yeah.
I'm going to defend this belt. I am the man, and I am going to defend this belt. And now you get to see it. So that's why I'm saying when they're coming down that aisle, it's not over their shoulder if they have a robe on. It's not outside the robe if they have a robe on. That doesn't pertain to people not wearing robes, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But with the people with the robes, it needs to go under the robe. Then when you do the big reveal in the middle of the ring, when you're getting introduced to the millions of people around the world or whatever, there you are with the belt around your waist as the champion in the middle of the ring. So there's that. Speaking of champions,
yes,
number 4 was a champion of the world at one time, and he had a great saying, and I tell you, I'm just going to let you do this one, because there was a reason why he was a great champion. What was it, Jeremy?
Well, the reason he was a great champion is because he was the best there is, he was the best there was, and he was the best there ever will be. And we're talking about the catchphrase of the excellence of execution, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yes, that's a good one, man. That's a good one right there. And see, there's another guy. He comes to the ring. The belt is around his waist with the jackets on and stuff, and he puts the sunglasses on the kid, and then he gets up there, and no matter what they're saying, and he hits his mark by doing his interview, and he says it, I'm the best there is, the best, he does it, and it gets over, and it got over. And like you said, the excellence of execution, man, what a combination of wording right there. It's just great. I think sometimes maybe Bret Hart, people didn't think, I don't know, maybe he didn't think he got the credit he deserved as a champion. I certainly do. I think he was a great world champion, man, because I think he was a tremendous wrestler. His wrestling ability speaks for itself, and work ability. Great body. Didn't have to have. He wasn't overly big, and he wasn't small. He had a really good body. Not overly muscled, but very muscle toned. And he had that good talk. And like you said, doing that and always ending it with, because I'm the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. He had that going so he could talk. So once again, we're talking about someone who really got over on all levels you need to get over on a professional athlete, and that's why he was a world champion, man. And that's a hell of a catchphrase right there too, because there's so many people that just soon as he would start to say it, they start saying it with them, and that's one of those things. It's a catchphrase for a reason. It catches on,
That's right.
So Bret the Hitman Hart, that's a good one, man.
Well, and Bret Hart was a tactician and a technician and everything. I mean, he said precise things, he did precise moves. The guy was a consummate professional. And I know Canada, I've said some things that have angered you about when I'm talking about Bret Hart, but come on. I mean, I've never taken anything away from the man, I'm just trying to keep that air clear, Bobby. That last time I got kicked out of Canada for that interview, and it was all bad. It was all bad.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll let you come back sometime.
Sometime, I hope.
All right, man. Well, you want to move on to number 3?
I do want to move on to number 3, and I'm going to let you lead into this one.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so, man. Stone Cold Steve Austin right there, man. That line right there. We could use the Austin 316 and so many other, the yells and this and that, which that used to drive me crazy. But, man, when he said, and that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so, let me tell you, man, that got over. And again, a professional that worked his ass off to get to where he got to, physique-wise, work rate-wise, always there performing, giving it 100% and looking great. And then also being able to talk at smack, man, and just get on that microphone and talk them into the people, into the building, talk them into buying the pay-per-view, and talk them into just, buying into like, holy shit, man, that's Stone Cold. And you know why it's true? Because he fucking said it was so. You know what I'm saying? He said it was true. Go on, Jeremy, because I'm just going to ramble on if you don't.
No, that's fine. So I love pointing out how Stone Cold's career was just due to kind of his ability to come up with quotable shit on the spot. You're right, that what one just drives me nuts, but almost everything else was gold, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We're talking about a guy who was going to be the ringmaster, and then DiBiase jumped ship, so it left them having to do something else, and that's when they came up with the Stone Cold thing. And his catchphrase was going to be, somehow they were going to work in somebody saying what he was doing was cold, and he'd say, no, it's Stone Cold. That was going to be the catchphrase until he popped off with, and that's the bottom line. Changing that forever. Also, the Austin 316 was an ad-lib. That was an ad-lib. This was a guy who just kind of was, and everywhere he existed, they kind of fucked him, and then one day he just stammered his way into greatness almost, or stumbled his way into greatness, and it's pretty impressive. Very few people have mic skills and anything else like him. Here's the thing, I always thought he was a great wrestler when he was Superstar, Steve Williams back in the day, and, I always thought he was good. It's just that this is where he really caught it. And that's the bottom line, was the perfect ending for him on every interview.
Yeah. That was great. Great. Well deserved. He comes in at number 3. Let's move on to number 2, and I'm going to let you introduce number 2.
Oh, yeah. Well, number 2, and this one is kind of fun for me because both his dad and his grandfather worked in this territory back in the day, part of the northern central California to the Bay Area. His grandfather being, High Chief Peter Maivia, and his father being Rocky Johnson. We're going to go with Can You Smell What the Rock Is Cooking by The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, that's a great choice for number 2. Yep. The thing is, he could probably have any number, just like Stone Cold. He could have any number, but when he come out there, a number of sayings and catchphrases, but the one I think most people relate to is when, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? And I kind of alluded to it earlier when I said when the millions and millions around the world tune in, he just, man, the thing about it, now looking back, when he says most electrifying, that's the thing. He's electrifying, man.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about him last week, on a Hollywood episode or a couple weeks back on an episode. You could do a top 10, Dwayne The Rock Johnson catchphrases or whatever, same stuff, Stone Cold. But I think most people, it resonates is can you smell what the Rock's cooking, man? Because I've seen that on so many different things, that people turned it into something else. But it all goes back to him saying, can you smell what the Rock's cooking? And that's just some good stuff, man. That's good stuff. I don't know what more to say other than he's the biggest action star, if not biggest movie star in the world right now. So, how he comes in at number 2 is because it's our list, and we hope you enjoyed our list, and we tried to go a little bit different outside of, what everyone else is thinking sometimes. Even though a lot of people, wrote us about these, and if you go to the YouTube, there's other things out there. They're going to come with, top this, top that. Well, ours is, ours, So
that's right.
We got The Rock at number 2 for a reason. So can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Comes in at number 2 on our list. Anything else about The Rock, Jeremy? Because we got something new we're going to bring up today before we go into our number 1.
That's right. Well, let me see here. Is there anything else about The Rock? He just got married, biggest action star in the world. Probably the most charismatic person in a wrestling ring since Dusty Rhodes and Superstar Billy Graham, except for maybe one other person who we're still going to get to. But no, Bobby, let's talk about the new thing we're going to talk about.
Oh, the new thing? I don't even have the new thing. I think Tex has a new thing. I've seen a picture of him wearing it. I've seen him wearing it. The Pin Me, Pay Me T-shirt, man. I want to get one of these bad mofos, man. I think it's tough. It's the Pin Me, Pay Me T-shirt. That's what it is. You can get it any color. It's just nice. I've yet to get one. I do know this. You can now get them. They're $20. You can get any color. I hit my microphone again. I'm going to kick that motherfucker in just a second as soon as we get off there and stomp a mud hole through it.
Teach it a lesson.
But anyway, at tinyurl.com/pinmeshirt. Again, folks, I know several people asked me about it because I didn't know where to get it at myself, and I'm going to get me one, and I hope you do too. It's tinyurl.com/pinmeshirt, and that's for that shirt. Maybe we need to put a picture of Tex up there again. He was with one of our listeners, Chad. They took a picture down in Charlotte a couple weeks back. When I met Tex back in April at the show there, we took a picture. He had the T-shirt on there. Maybe we have to get Tex to be a supermodel or something. I don't know, but it's a nice looking shirt. We'll get a picture up maybe on the, if we can, Jeremy, let's put a picture up on the Bell to Bell podcast page on Twitter if you don't care.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
I'll try to find that one of Tex, and I'll try to repost it on my site as well. But anyway, yeah, it's the new Pin Me, Pay Me T-shirt. It's available at tinyurl.com/pin-me-shirt. And again, I'm not pushing and peddling T-shirts. I have my Bobby Blaze shirts. I'm out of them right now. I'm not trying to push things for just Jeremy. I'm pushing things for his show. And for Tex as well. We just get a small kickback out of this. If you go there and pay the $20, I know we get just a small percentage, and we just kick that back into the show. We haven't offered this before. We're offering it now. So go get one, because I know I'm going to get me one. And that's all I can say about it, Jeremy. Anything else about it before we go into our number one?
Well, this is kind of born out of a conversation me and Tex just randomly had like late last year or early this year. And I was like, oh, we need some kind of graphic or something for this. And then all of a sudden, like a couple hours later, I get in my email like 14 different versions of these logos. And because Tex is fast when it comes to turning around graphics. I mean, he is on top of shit every time. So I made the shirts. I bought one just so I could try it out. And then Tex and I talked, and he bought one, and he's worn them to a handful of shows now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And he got his in blue. I got mine in red. They look good. They're available in like 20 different colors. They're available in several sizes, a bunch of different style cuts. If you want to help support the show and want to help just Bobby get the word out about his books and about himself, buy the shirt. You'll do us all a great favor, but also you'll look stylish. You'll probably get laid in it.
Yes. And speaking of stylish, we're going to move on to number one right now. How about that? Because when you walk that aisle, styling and profiling, look like only the nature boy can. Custom made from head to toe, a limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Woo! To be the man, you've got to beat the man. Woo! Number one, Ric Flair. To be the man, you've got to beat the man. What do you think, Professor?
Well, there is nobody quite like Ric Flair in the world, is there?
No, there isn't.
No.
He's got the Ric Flair drip now. He's still getting over.
Yep.
He's in rap songs.
Well, Ric Flair was great on a mic. Everything he said just talked himself up to such a way that he was the legend he pretended to be. I mean, the dude was great in the ring. He was great on a mic. He had a way of turning phrases. I mean, to be the man, you got to beat the man. This is still like the nature of a lawsuit right now between him and the WWE, I guess. Yeah. This was a great catchphrase, but all of his catchphrases were great. I mean, Space Mountain was a great one.
I was going to say Space Mountain, baby. I was just listening to the radio show the other day out of Charlotte, and they was talking about the Nature Boy in there on the John Boy and Billy show. They say, Ric Flair, man, hey, Space Mountain, it may be the oldest ride in the park, but it has the longest line. Because I'm a 60-minute man. Woo! And I can go all night long.
Mm-hmm. So, you've been working on your Flair impression, haven't you?
No, I'll tell you why I was working on it, because I wanted to tell you this story, and I'll kind of wrap up the show.
Okay.
I'll let you post out after this. So I hope you liked our top 10. I think it was a great top 10. I think it was a fun top 10. And I just want to tell you I had to do this. So the night I wrestled Roddy Piper, okay, when he comes out and said, this kid thinks he's Ric Flair, okay? So I had the bleach blonde hairs happen back in 90 or so, 90, 91, with WWF TV, and Piper walked by me and seen me. I told that story. I tell it in the book about the Roddy Piper story. But when he comes by me, he said, hey, kid, are you working tonight? I said, I don't know yet, He said, you here to come for me? We do the thing. We go into a bathroom together. He says, listen, I got an idea for you. Can you stay right here? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And at that point, I'm in the back of an arena, in the back of a bathroom, waiting on Roddy Piper, and I don't know what the hell is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But just a couple minutes later, man, the bathroom door opens up, and in walks the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, right there in front of me, man. And so Piper says, hey, Rick, I introduced myself, of course. I said, hey, how you doing? I'm Bobby Blaze Smedley, actually, I said back then, because you couldn't use your real name on WWF TV. And I said, that's my gimmick's Bobby Blaze, but, he goes, he already knew who he was, but he's still Ric Flair, So Piper says, I think this kid, looks like you. I think we can pull off this gimmick out here, because they was doing chair matches. And so Flair goes, well, can you do it? And he goes, so I go, woo! I'm a kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, jet flying son of a gun. Woo! And I did it, and Flair looks at me and he goes, that's pretty good, kid. And he goes, one thing is, don't forget to turn your head when you take that face bump. And he pointed to his nose, and I shook his hand. I thanked him. And as I was walking out the door, I was thanking Piper. And I was like, man, damn, I'm getting to wrestle Roddy Piper. I just met Ric Flair, and I got to do an impersonation of the Nature Boy, and the Nature Boy said to me, that's pretty good, kid, but you're no Ric Flair. So, woo, I'm going to get better at it.
That's an awesome story. That is a great story. That would be like, as somebody who grew up watching wrestling, you must have been ready to shit your pants that night, because you're like, okay, so I'm wrestling Piper. I just shook hands with Flair. I could walk outside and get hit by a car right now and not give a shit. You know?
Yeah.
Man,
well, anyway, another great episode, Professor.
Yeah, this was a great topic. I am glad we did this one. I had a lot of fun with this. Yeah, goddamn. There's some good stuff. You know, and here's the thing. We barely scratched the surface of catchphrases in pro wrestling.
Right.
Yeah, so many more.
Well, we had to come back to it maybe. You never know. But we did get another episode out of this, maybe with the reasons we love the Macho Man, you know. Like I said, hey, let me just close out that story. I hope you enjoyed it. It's true. Follow me on Twitter at BobbyBlaze744. Follow the Professor at the Geekcast, or follow the joint account at Bell to Bell Blaze on Twitter. And also, don't forget our YouTube channel at tinyurl.com/BBBB video, and subscribe to our channel there. We appreciate it. And the only thing I'm going to say before you close it out, Professor, is this. Everyone out there, just take care of each other. Show some love, man. Be good to one another. And just try to do your best every day that you can, and have a great week. Thank you.
Tex, the Carolinas are lucky to have you. Don't worry about having to take time off. You're doing more important shit than keeping us afloat right now. You know, and then for myself, for Bobby Blaze, for Tex, bye-bye, everybody.